It's easy to hear your favorite artist on WFPK from wherever you are. Listen on your smart speaker, live stream from our website at WFPK.org from Louisville Public Media.
And then the computer started fucking about. So, can I swear on this?
Consequence Podcast Network.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith With. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here, checking out the series and the episode. Please do hit the subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week. It's a new one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to keep up with all of your favorite artists, discover some new ones, and know what's happening in the music world. iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Acast, Podchaser, NPR, YouTube for the video versions, or anywhere you get your podcasts from. I'm Kyle Meredith. Today I'm going to be talking to KSI about the new record All Over the Place and its many different styles of music. The YouTuber rapper talks about recording an indie rock song with Lil Wayne, deciding the message he wants to convey through his lyrics, and being an undefinable musician. JJ also tells us about wanting to invent a persona on a future album and the details behind an upcoming Amazon documentary about his life. So let's get into it. All Over the Place, it's Kyle Meredith with KSI.
How you doing, Kyle?
First off, I love listening to this album. I've been loving what you're doing with this new record, All Over the Place. Of course, that name really does say it all right there. You're able to drift between styles with what seems like ease. I mean, is there a decision beforehand of what you want to write and produce as far as styles?
I think for this album, I kind of wanted to just see what I could do. See, how versatile I could truly be. Entering, drill, entering pop, entering Afro beats. It's just trying different styles, seeing what works. It was quite an experimental album, and people loved it. I've got a wide audience, especially since I started from YouTube, and YouTube is worldwide. So you've got countries like Norway, countries like obviously America, Australia, Canada, all these countries that are outside the UK, and they're all listening in to my music. And they, just because I started from YouTube and I've been able to really just expand and experiment, and I felt like it was important for me to be quite versatile rather than just stick to just rap and hardcore rap, because I guess that's kind of where I started from, especially like hardcore internet rap. And then I kind of wanted to show my audience, as well as show the people, the doubters, etc., that I could do more than just one style of music. And I feel like I've shown that with All Over the Place.
Do you find that is there a comfort zone that you feel more comfortable in, or is it all coming, I don't know, fairly easy?
I'd say rapping. Obviously, I'm very, very comfortable with rapping. It's pretty much second nature now when it comes to me rapping bars, etc. I think with this singing, I'm improving on that front. Just trying to really understand melodies, and I feel like I'm getting better. You could see the difference within a year, with me doing singing lessons and me working on melodies and just how it sounds. Dissimulation, my previous album, compared to All Over the Place, you can already tell the difference. So.
I mean, and I should bring up the latest single with Lose. I mean, you're working with Lil Wayne on there. There's a lot of singing. It's like when I listened to it, the first time I heard it, I was like, wow, it's surprising almost. Like this has got like a rock chorus to it. It reminds me a little bit of Block Party, a little bit. But both of you all are just like, yeah, it's not exactly what I think any of us expected going into this album.
Yeah, and I kind of, that's what I wanted. I didn't want people to expect your typical KSI album. I wanted people to go into it being like, oh wow, I'm pleasantly surprised. I wasn't expecting this, I wasn't expecting this or this. It's just surprised me what he can do, and it's like a pleasant surprise. It's not like, oh, why is he trying this? He's doing terribly with it. It's like, oh wow, I didn't expect this and I like it. So like with Lose, especially with Lil Wayne, everyone's expecting a bar for bar verse from both of us and then a rap chorus, but no, we just switched it on them. I brought Wheezy Wheezy back, or or Weezer, should I say? And The Rock, Lil Wayne, and my man's coming through singing, with me, and obviously he still brings out the bars and the verses, but it was dope to have something that no one would expect with Lil Wayne compared to what you would normally expect from Lil Wayne.
What was the conversation like on that song?
Well, it was quite easy. We sent him the track and he loved it. He loved it, and he did more than he was meant to do. With the verse, he did more. And with the chorus, he hopped on and just did his thing. So, I had a vision for it, and he blew out the water. And, it's insane to be able to work with Lil Wayne, But best believe I've worked hard to get into this position as well. It's taken me 10 plus years to get into this position. It's not something that just happened overnight. I know, obviously, with the whole boxing and YouTube, etc., people didn't really see the music, but the music has always been there. It's always been, as an undertone. And now, whenever I release singles, it charts, and there's no fluke to that. It's not a mistake. I have been working hard, and now, it's easy for me to chart.
And that ties back to the process, the art of songwriting. I mean, you talked about singing a bit and having to work on that, but the actual process of songwriting, like, how easy did that come to you?
Oh, that took me years, man. And it's so funny. Like, I always do it in the same spot. Obviously, my house, I've moved, in different flats or houses, but I always write in my bedroom. Every now and then I write in studios, but I'm very comfortable in writing in my room. Sometimes I write on the toilet, or sometimes I write on the plane. Anywhere where it's like a lot of peace and quiet. I love writing. I'm just in my own space, in my own bubble, and I can just write. It's beautiful. Whereas, with studio, I feel like there's I don't know, there's added time, there's pressure because you're paying for the studio, everyone's waiting on you for a verse, and you've just got the beat on loop, and there's all this pressure and expectation. Whereas, normally when I'm at home and I'm just writing, just hearing the beat over and over, there's no pressure, no time restraint. It's just me and the music. And that's where, my best songs have come about. So yeah, that's normally what I do with writing. And I'm starting to write more in studio because obviously that's where I'm able to collab more with other artists, and I'm able to experiment more, because there's no point in me just being stuck in my own ways. I just won't ever evolve. So yeah, I'm definitely starting to branch out and work with different artists I wouldn't normally work with. But yeah, for me, like, I've always started in my bedroom with everything from the YouTube to music to everything.
In this record coming, I mean, so quick after the debut album. I mean, this is just almost a year to the month and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if all these songs were sort of written in that time period, but a lot of times when that happens, the themes, they sort of happen automatically. Did you find that anything was tying these songs together?
Oh, I think it was all quite random, just random things that were happening in my life, or random things I wanted to talk about, whether it would be my love life, whether it would be my friends, my family, where I'm at in life. It's or just previous things that have happened in my life. It's just moments that made sense for me. But I know, obviously, if you want to talk about certain topics, important part is making sure that the song is good. So I think that was definitely a thing that I had to acknowledge, and I think that's why I failed a little bit with Dissimulation. There was topics I wanted to talk about, but I didn't execute it as well as I did in All Over the Place. So I feel like that, for me, that was definitely something that I had to work on, and I had to get rid of a lot of songs. I made a load of songs and I had to cut, because yes, it had certain topics I wanted to speak about, but I didn't execute it well. And with this album, All Over the Place, I just released all the stuff that I executed well.
So what does that mean? That did you go for a more direct approach?
How so?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is like executing it better this time than the last time around. Like, what does that mean actually in the way you talk about? And I know we're talking broadly here, but any of the subjects that you feel more successful this time around, does that just mean like you went more direct on how you were talking about it?
If anything, I was a lot more indirect. I think, yes, I think before I was quite direct, and it kind of made sense for only a specific people or a small. If you knew me, you'd understand. Whereas a lot of people didn't get what I was talking about with dissimulation. Whereas with all over the place, it's a lot more. It was a lot more indirect, and it was a lot more like a lot of people could understand my point of view without actually understanding what I'm trying to say, if that makes sense. I wasn't trying to I guess I wasn't letting people as in as I was with dissimulation. I kind of kept people at arm's length with this one, right? I guess to a certain point, let them know what's going on, but it wasn't as personal.
It seems like that's always sort of the debate with with songwriting is like, do you go for universal, do you go for specific, like with any message. I think any songwriter kind of has to deal with that, has to make that choice, and there's a point where you can go too universal where it just becomes bland. I don't get that from this record at all.
I think yeah, like I think for me, a part of me was just making sure I still had elements of me in all my music, and I think with Holiday, I think Holiday was one song where I was like, it is me, but it's definitely not what people are expecting from me, and that's why I was quite hesitant to release it. But then, obviously, there's a lot of debate and going back and forth. But eventually, I released it, and it's not one of my biggest songs. Same with what other song was I unsure of? You, another like personal-ish song, but again, I didn't want it to be super personal. So there were lyrics where it would be directly for a certain person that they knew it was about them, and I would take that out just so it's a bit more broad, if that makes sense. So I think with this album, I feel like one of the reasons why it's definitely doing better is because it's not as super personal. But I know a lot of my audience miss that. So it's kind of like trying to figure out what I want to do with my next album. If I want to have, an album full of things that are super personal to me, and then an album full of just bangers that, are less personal, but more indirect and, I guess the universal amount or the wider audience will be able to digest it better.
Well, I was personally hoping when I just saw the track list that Jimmy Neutron was in direct relation to the cartoon, and I don't think it was.
No, not at all, not at all. Imagine.
I wouldn't have put it past you though. Like I was, I'll go back to Lou's with the video, which was so fun to watch. So here you guys are doing an animated video. You and Lil Wayne are doing an animated video. But the very first thing, it's not all animated, of course. I see Stretch Armstrong right there on the mantle, and
yeah, yeah, they did. They fully did me dirty with the face. They fully made me look like a handsome Squidward with that face, man. Oh God.
It never occurred to me. So it, that's just
that's the first thing I saw. I was like, why? You just didn't need to do it. But I was like, I was just like, I get trolled on a daily basis. So.
What's up with the ending of the video? I mean, everything gets sucked into this vortex or black hole or something. Is this like, should we expect a continuing saga? Is that what's happening?
No. It's just a little element of my life. But no, there's no continuation. It's just an idea. It's just a concept idea. And I guess I kind of explored it a little bit with Sleeping with the Enemy, just about how I feel like my world is a simulation and how everything is happening, and it feels like sometimes I'm not really in control. It's just I'm being led into a path that I can't really stop. I don't know. It's quite deep, but then there's parts of me that felt that maybe I should have taken Sleeping with the Enemy off the album because it was a bit too personal. So there's always things that went through my mind. But
I mean, the simulation thing is really interesting because, to a degree, and again, as you start, talk about, coming up to the YouTube world. I mean, you've lived such a big part of your life in this virtual landscape.
yeah,
I guess that would mess with your mind, I guess, a little bit.
yeah. So I think that's definitely something I want to explore in future albums, and maybe I'll have to create like a persona or something just to really drive home how I feel about it all. But I right now I'm in a space where um I'm kind of just I don't even have time to do any music. It's just press YouTube and then tour, and it's just it's I struggle to find time. But once I've really done the tour and done everything, done the festivals, etc. I mean, I've already done the festivals, but like I've done a certain amount. I'll hopefully be able to really get back in the studio and really work my magic, and bring home another album which people won't expect, but it, again, will be pleasantly surprised. I don't want to be a person that you just know what you're gonna get. I want to be an artist that you can't place me. If someone was to go, what style would KSI make, or what's a KSI song? I want people to just have no idea. It'd just be a blank. Yeah, I think that's because it gives me freedom, musical freedom, man. And I feel like certain artists are kind of stuck in their ways because they're not allowed to branch out anymore because they've just made the same style of music. And whenever they try to do something different after so many years of doing the same song or same type of song, it backfires, and then they're forced to go back to where they're comfortable. Whereas me, I've always just my comfort has been in places where it's uncomfortable.
The videos are such a big part of it too, and as we're talking about that, you sort of do have these, I don't know if personas is the right word, but you do have what you're doing on YouTube outside of the music, and of course the music videos, what you're doing inside. Do you find that you separate those?
Yes and no. I think sometimes it can get a little bit muddled up. You can definitely, obviously, with my second channel on YouTube, I call it JJ Olatunji, and then on my main channel it's KSI, where all the music is. So sometimes it can get a little bit muddled up, and I think in the future I want to try and maybe separate it a bit more. And I feel like adding a new persona will do that. But I'd still call myself KSI, but in the album I'd call myself Sam or Chris or something like that, some random name, just to really like come through with this story and just, I don't know, just get people interested, just something different that no one would be expecting. But again, right now I'm just not really in that musical element. I'd say right now it's if I was to do any songs, it'd just be like features where I can just rap about whatever and just have fun. Whereas for my next album, I really want to make sure I spend time just crafting it even more and trying new things that I haven't tried before, and just seeing where I'm at.
I love the personas, by the way. Just that side note there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Bowie, Ziggy Stardust, one of the greatest of all
Yeah,
time. Just how that allows an artist to do the things that you're saying. I personally, I hope you do that. I want to see how that.
Yeah,
I do want to see that.
I think that'd be quite fun. It's just, again, it just gives me more freedom, and it allows me to explore. So
I'll just quickly ask about a couple other things, only because I'm such a big fan of the song too. Don't Play. You got Anne-Marie on there. And again, we're talking about a sort of a different thing than what we're hearing in many of the other parts of the record. How did you, I mean, what, with a song like that, is there ever a point where you say, I really do want to do this type of song with this type of artist? Does it ever come to that?
Well, to be honest, how I work is I get sent a beat and I listen to it, or I get sent a song with a chorus in it and I listen to it and I go, oh, I like this. And then I write. I just go away and I write. And then I go back to my manager and I go, I've got something. and then I vocal it down, and we then send that away. And you know Anne Marie was, really wanted to work with me. She's been a fan for quite a bit. So, we sent her the song, and she loved it. She killed it literally like within a day. It's literally the same like Lil Wayne. It's, I guess, when you've got when you've already given them like a nearly finished product, and you give it to them and they go, oh yes, then obviously they're going to just want to do their thing. And yeah, she did a verse, she did the chorus, and then we made a hit. So yeah, for me it's kind of just trying to make everyone's life as easy as possible. I'll do all the hard work, and then, I mean, not to say that the artists don't do hard work as well, but like I want to make it as easy as possible, and I want to, I guess, direct them where I want them to go, if that makes sense, rather than just giving them a blank canvas and then just going, do your thing, and then it coming back and me going, it's not what I wanted.
I mean, the formula's working. It's obviously working.
Yeah.
As the success keeps coming in. I saw on Twitter, I believe, that there's also a documentary in the works.
Yes, yeah, I'm with Amazon. So they're literally filming everything about my life. What a normal KSI day is like, what I go through, whether through music or the YouTube stuff with Sidemen, or my own personal channels, or the training with boxing, etc. They just film it all, and I guess it will let a lot of people see and understand what I actually do, because I know a lot of people know that I work hard in quotation marks, but they don't actually get to properly see it or understand it. So a lot of people still think I'm just a YouTuber and that my life is easy, and that I kind of just fluke my way to this point. So I feel like the doc will help, answer a lot of people's questions and make people go, okay, yeah, fuck doing what he does. I'm good. I'll stick to my 9 to 5 or whatever I'm doing. Because yeah, what I'm doing is ludicrous. Like, even to my friends who do similar things, they all find it ridiculous, looking at my schedule. So
yeah, well, I mean, your story is incredible, and I feel like, whether or not it's actually done it, this album really silences whatever criticism might have come your way from the critics. It's
yeah, it's definitely made making music with other artists a lot easier now. Like, yeah, now I'm in the, I guess, what's the seat called? I guess the prime position anyway, where I'm able to really dictate and really decide and really do whatever I want. Whereas before I had to just prove myself a lot, prove that I could do it, prove that I can do music, prove I'm serious about it, rather than just this YouTuber that is trying to get into the music industry and just kind of failing. No, I'm established now, and it's a great feeling. And now it's just being able to wow more people and just break more records, etc. So
and as if you weren't busy enough, you throw in you started your own label with the Online Takeover earlier this year. You got the tour going on, man. It is let me say the obvious pun here, but you are all over the place in the most beautiful way.
Exactly.
Congratulations on this record, though. It's so much fun to listen to. I so appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that.
No problem, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it.
Sweet. See you in a bit, my G.
My thanks to JJ. KSI. The new album is called All Over the Place. Thanks to you as well for, again, checking out the episode. Hit that subscribe button before you get out of here so you can keep up with all of the interviews that we put out every single week at iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Acast, Podchaser, NPR, YouTube for the video version, or anywhere you get your podcast from. Subscribe to Kyle Meredith With. After that, head over to WFPK.org, where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, and bonus interviews. That's Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all three of them at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.
Consequence Podcast Network.
Oh, it's all. So I didn't even need to restart. Oh, you should have told me.
It's easy to hear your favorite artist on WFPK from wherever you are. Listen on your smart speaker, live stream from our website at WFPK.org, from Louisville Public Media.